Welcome back to our lecture series in linear control system. So we were in the topic of root locus diagram for almost last 4 videos, and we completed all the rules that are needed to solve the root locus diagram problems. And our method was not learning all the rules at once and doing the problem in another class. That was not our method. We learned some rules and we checked whether that rules are needed for our particular problem or not. So we started with simple problems which requires very initial rules, and then we slowly moved to more rules, and then we did some more complicated problems which are relevant to that particular rules. That way you can realize whenever you are getting some problems, you can realize which are the rules that is needed by seeing the question itself. By seeing the question itself, you should be able to draw the shape of root locus diagram in your mind. If you are following all my lectures from root locus diagram lecture 1 to 4, you will be definitely able to draw the shape of root locus diagram in your mind without having a paper itself. So today we are directly moving to a problem which may or may not require all the rules, I don't know. So how we can significantly speak which are the rules we need for completing the root locus diagram. Okay, let us try by viewing this problem. So draw the root locus diagram for g of s h of s is equal to k by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2 into s plus 3. So no s terms are there in the numerator. That means number of zeros is equal to 0. Number of zeros z is equal to 0. What about poles? We are having s is equal to 0, one pole. S is equal to minus 1. From this one, s is equal to minus 1, other pole. S is equal to minus 2, next pole. S is equal to minus 3, next pole. We are having 4 poles. Total number of poles is 4. So on this moment, while writing in the exam or while appearing the exam in an exam hall, you have to think there is 4 poles, but no zeros are there. From the initial knowledge itself, we know all the pole requires its own zero for completing the root locus branch. Every pole is having a zero. But in this case, we are having 4 finite poles. What do you mean by finite poles? 4 poles are there in the question itself. There are specifically the 4 poles are at some 4 positions. We know 0 is 1 position, minus 1 is 1 position, minus 2 is 1 position, minus 3 is 1 position. So we are having 4 finite poles. We are having 4 finite poles. But number of finite 0. Number of finite 0. Is there any finite 0? No. Number of finite zeros is 0. But we can say zeros are exactly 0, because even though zeros are missing in the paper, they are present in the infinity. All the poles are ready to travel up to infinity to meet its own 0. We already told you that. Like a hero is traveling to meet his heroine, and he is ready to take any risk for traveling and to meet his heroine. Like that, all the 4 poles are ready to travel up to infinity. So even though zeros are absent, finite zeros are absent, we are having infinite zeros. So the root locus diagram is now going to fly to infinity. How we can fly to infinity? For giving the direction to infinity, we need asymptotes. We need asymptotes. Asymptotes are the direction line to infinity. Asymptotes are the direction line to infinity. Suppose I am having 4 finite poles and 1 finite zero. What happened? One pole is having its own finite zero. But what about the other three? They have to travel up to infinity. Like that, number of asymptote is always determined by number of pole minus number of zero. In our example, we are having 4 pole but no zeros. So, all the 4 poles have to travel to infinity. So, P minus Z is equal to number of poles minus number of zero. That will give the number of asymptotes. Okay. So, we are having 4 asymptote. 4 asymptote means its name is theta 0, theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3. How many asymptote? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is angle of asymptote. I know I am having 4 asymptote. What is the particular angle of this asymptote? For that we are using this equation. Angle of asymptote theta L is equal to 2L plus 1 into pi by number of pole minus number of zero. Okay. Now I will tell a easy method for finding angle of asymptote. If we are having only one asymptote, its name is theta 0 and that angle will be always minus 180 degree. Sorry, not minus, it's always 180 degree. If we are having two asymptotes, its angle will be always theta 1 and theta 2. Theta 1 will be plus 90 and theta 2 will be minus 90. How you will draw? If this is the centroid, this will be one asymptote plus 90 and this will be other asymptote minus 90. This is the case of two asymptotes. If we are having three asymptotes, P minus Z is equal to 3, then you have to calculate theta 0, theta 1 and theta 2. And what is the angle? 60, 180 minus 60. No doubt, you can calculate in any problem. If P minus Z is 3, you will get these angles, no doubt. So, what will be the shape of these angle of asymptotes? How you can draw? It will be like the leaves of a fan. If 2, you have to split the entire plane in this plus 90 and minus 90. If 3, you have to draw this angle 60, 180, minus 60, like the leaves of a fan. I will draw. Okay. I will draw it. It will be like this. Plus 60, 180, minus 60. Theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3. Like the leaves of a fan. This is axis. We are having 3 asymptotes. In this problem, we are having 4 asymptotes. Then divide the plane with 4. That is, it will be exactly like a cross mark. And the meeting point will be centroid. The angle will be, first angle I calculated, theta 0. Theta 0 is equal to, okay, let me rub this. You should keep this thing in your mind. If P minus Z is 1, you have to calculate theta 0, that is 180. 2, theta 1 and theta 2. You have to use this equation, but you will get this only. If 3, you will get like this. If 4, if it is 4, it will be like dividing the entire plane with a cross mark, X mark. Like this. So tell me, what are the angles? Okay, if you are not like to memorize like this, you can do the conventional calculation. Please see here, theta 0 is equal to 2 into 0 plus 1 into pi by P minus Z. Here it is 4. You will get pi by 4, 45. This is theta 1, that is equal to 45. On the same equation, you substitute L is equal to sorry, this is theta 0. L is equal to 1. You will get theta 1 is equal to 135 degree. Please check. Please check. Theta 1. This is the angle of theta 1. And what will be theta 2? Substitute L is equal to 2. You will get 45 plus 90. Okay. Okay. 225. You will get 225. Okay, this angle will be 225 always. We are splitting with the same cross mark. If you are drawing a cross mark, and please measure the angle, it will be 45. This will be 135. This will be 225, and this will be minus 45. So theta 3 will be minus 45 degree. So this will be the angle of asymptotes. Then you have to find the meeting point of these asymptotes. That is known as centroid. Centroid is sum of poles minus sum of 0 by number of pole minus number of 0. Sum of pole minus sum of 0 by number of pole minus number of 0. Sum of pole is 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. It is minus 6. And sum of zeros is 0. By number of pole minus number of 0. It is P minus Z is equal to 4. Then the answer is minus 1.5. Is it okay? So what are the things we did up to the moment? Please conclude. Please conclude what are the steps or what are the rules we followed up to the moment. What are the things we did up to the moment? We initially checked number of poles, that is 4, and number of zeros. No zeros were there. So all the poles are having their own zeros at infinity. So all the 4 poles have to travel to infinity. So number of asymptotes, that is P minus Z, that is equal to 4. Then we have to find, as it is 4, theta 0, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3. And the equation is we are having. Hence please substitute L is equal to 0, L is equal to 1, L is equal to 2, L is equal to 3. You will get this. And I also commented some easy way to find this angle of asymptotes. Then as there is 4 asymptotes, we need a centroid. Centroid is the meeting point of asymptotes. Sum of poles minus sum of 0 by number of poles minus number of 0. 6 minus 6 by 4, it is minus 1.5. Now, okay. One pole is there at 0, minus 1, minus 2, and minus 3. This is the condition. And we got this is the centroid. Minus 1.5. Minus 1.5 is the centroid. Now, I would like to draw the angle of asymptote. We are having, as this 4, it is just matter of drawing a cross mark. Okay, 45, 135, 135, 225, minus 45. Okay, 4 asymptotes are marked. Now, what is the next step? Next step, I have to check which are the area where root locus diagram is present. Which are the area where the root locus diagram is present. So, insert the section here. On the right side, number of poles plus 0 is equal to 1. So root locus diagram will be present here. On this area, on the right side, number of poles and zeros is 2. So it will not be present in this area. And from here, please check, number of poles plus 0 is 3. So root locus diagram will be present in this area also. So these are the area where root locus diagram is present in the real axis. Here comes the twist. Root locus diagram is there in between two poles, and here also it is there in between two poles. So it will start on both poles and it will meet at a point. Here also it will start from the both poles, it will meet at a point. In this case we are having breakaway. On both this length we are having a breakaway points. And then what happened? This pole has to travel to infinity. This pole also has to travel to infinity. This pole has to travel to infinity, and this pole also has to travel to infinity. So all the poles will meet and break away. Here also meet and break away. How it will travel? Who will give the direction of travel to infinity? That is provided by angle of asymptote. So here a breakaway will happen. It will travel. Here also breakaway will happen. It will travel like this. Here also breakaway happen and it will travel like this. Here also breakaway happen and it will travel like this. So these are the root locus diagram. The rose colored lines are the root locus diagram. But there is much more questions. This is the point I want to convey. Now without having much calculation, I can draw the shape. But what is the exact value of breakaway point? I have to apply a rule. What is the exact value of this crossing point? Then also I have to apply rules. So in exam, you have to do that calculation also. And then you have to complete the figure. So now I am going to calculate the breakaway points and crossing points. Okay, let us move to those rules for doing the calculation. So I am once again repeating the procedure to draw up to this very briefly. So this is the question. We are having s is equal to 0, s is equal to -1, -2 and -3. We are having 4 poles. -1, -2 and -3. We are having 4 poles, and we calculated the centroid, that is intercept of asymptotes, that is centroid as -1.5 centroid, -1.5 as centroid. And then we know there is 4 poles and number of zeros is equal to 0. So number of asymptote will be 4 minus 0, that is 4. So if it is 4, no need to draw it separately. If it is 4, no need to draw it separately. No need to calculate. If number of asymptote is 4, we are having just like cross mark 45, 135, 225, -45. So this will be angle of asymptote 45, 135, 225, it should be like cross mark. If you are having protractor, then you can measure the angle and then draw for the exams. Then it will be more beautiful. Okay, these are the angle of these are the asymptotes, and they are meeting at its centroid point, that is -1.5. Then I applied rule number 4, which are the area where root locus diagram is present in the real axis. By that we got this is one area and this is the other area where root locus diagram is present in the real axis. And as on the both side it is poles. From here also root locus diagram initiates, here also root locus diagram initiates. In this session, here root locus starts, here root locus starts. So they will meet at some point. As all these are poles, then breakaway happens. Meets and go away. Meets and go away. So breakaway happens. If in between zeros, then break-in will happen. Okay. So for calculating this breakaway, I need these steps. And anyhow, I know that breakaway will happen and they will travel. These two will meet and travel in the direction of these asymptotes. One will go like this and the other will go like this. And here breakaway happens, one will go in this direction and the other will go in this direction. So shape is clear. Now for calculating breakaway points, I am just opening the brackets. It will take some time. That's why I easily copied. You please copy, please don't copy. Just open the brackets and check whether it is right or wrong. Then you will get a fourth order equation. S raised to 4 will be higher order. Then you are going to differentiate it. For finding breakaway point, you have to differentiate this thing. No need to differentiate k. K is a constant. So d by ds of 1 by s raised to 4, 6s cube, 11s square plus 6s. That should be equated to 0. So product rule, not product rule, quotient rule. So numerator in denominator into differential of numerator. Differential of 1 will give 0. So first term is 0. And then minus numerator into differential of denominator. Numerator 1 kept here, 1 is here. Differential of denominator. S raised to 4, 4s cube, 18s square, 22s, 6 divided by denominator square is equal to 0. Divided by denominator square is equal to 0. So cross multiply. Then you will get 4s cube plus 8s square plus 22s plus 6 is equal to 0. Using calculator you can solve this third order equation. So you will get 3 values for s. S is equal to minus 2.61, minus 0.38, minus 1.5. Now we are having 2 breakaway points. In between 0 and minus 1 there is one breakaway point. In between minus 2 and minus 3 there is another breakaway point. We are having only 2 breakaway points. But we got 3 points. So check which are the valid points and which are not valid. Minus 2.61. Yes, it is valid because breakaway happened in between minus 2 and minus 3. So it is valid. Minus 0.38 here. It is also valid. So breakaway happens in between 0 and minus 1. So minus 0.38 is also valid. Minus 1.5 is not valid because in between minus 1 and minus 2, no breakaway chances are there because it is a region where root locus is absent. So this is a invalid breakaway point. So avoid that point. Take the other points. One is minus 0.38, first point, and the other point is 2.61. So that is okay. Now I want to make the figure complete. So crossing point on imaginary axis that I will calculate separately. For getting more clarity, let me complete. So these two poles meet at this breakaway point and breakaway happens. They will move to infinity like this, towards infinity. For drawing up to infinity, you have to always check which are the asymptote that coming close to you and follow in that direction. For this breakaway happens and this will travel like this, 0.38. So this is the direction of root locus branch. And for this one, it is very clear. Two poles meets at the breakaway point and it will follow the direction of asymptote. Sorry. Here also it will follow the direction of asymptote. What a beautiful. This is the case. This is the rose colored line is the area where root locus is present. How many branch? One branch starting from here going to infinity. Other branch going to infinity. One branch going to infinity. Other branch also going to infinity. So we are having 4 branches. And one more thing is there. You have to check the value of crossing point. Value of this crossing point. How you can find that? For that, you have to apply RH stability criteria. If you are not having time, then this is also right. But if you are having the exact value, it will be more right. You will get more marks. So let me move to that step in order to find the crossing point of root locus diagram on imaginary axis. This rule is applicable only if the root locus, sum of the root locus branch is crossing the imaginary axis. This is imaginary axis, j omega axis, and this is real axis. This rule of RH criteria you have to apply only if there is a crossing on imaginary axis. Okay, let me move to that rule. Now we are moving to the step to find crossing point on imaginary axis. These are the 2 crossing points we are having on imaginary axis. For that we are applying RH stability criteria. RH stability criteria special case 2. Special case 2 means when poles or zeros are located on imaginary axis, we have to go for special case 2. So in this concept we are considering that as there is 2 crossing points, we are just considering it as 2 poles or zeros are there on imaginary axis. Not poles or zeros, 2 roots of characteristic equation. Ideally it will be poles. 2 roots of characteristic equation are there on imaginary axis. That is the RH special case 2. So if you don't have much idea about RH stability criteria, then also you can solve this problem. Okay. So now for RH criteria, we have to write characteristic equation. So here we are directly having g of s at h of s. We are not having g of s. If we are having g of s, then we can go g of s by 1 plus g of s h of s. That will give closed loop transfer function, and its denominator will give characteristic equation. But in root locus problem, we are having g of s. So you should be very careful that don't use that method. You have to use this method for finding characteristic equation. Characteristic equation is given by 1 plus g of s h of s, that is equal to 0. Please keep this thing in your mind. Don't go to find closed loop transfer function g of s by 1 plus g of s h of s. This will give wrong answer because you are not having g of s. In this problem or in root locus problem, you are always having g of s h of s. So this step cannot be applied. So for finding characteristic equation, you have to directly apply 1 plus g of s h of s, that is equal to 0. In this method also, both the answer will give same answer for characteristic equation. But this method is suitable for finding characteristic equation from root locus problem. Okay, so 1 plus this thing k by s raised to 4 6s cube plus 11s square plus 6s is equal to 0. That will give s4 plus 6s cube plus 11s square plus 6s plus k. That is equal to 0 because denominator will get cross multiplied. So this is the characteristic equation. So characteristic equation is the main thing that we need to apply RH stability criteria. Now I am going to apply RH stability criteria. Coefficient of s raised to 4, it is 1. So I am writing 1 here. Then alternative s term. Coefficient of s square, it is 11. So I am writing 11 here. Then alternative s term, it is constant term, s raised to 0. Constant term. So that is k. On the other line, s cube, I am checking the coefficient of s cube, that is 6. Then alternative s term, that is s raised to 1, that is also 6. Then alternative, no term, so put 0. Now apply RH criteria. Multiply, so 6 into 11, that is 66, minus 1 into 6, that is 6. 66 minus 6, 66 minus 6 will give 60, divided by this term, that is equal to 10. Here it is 6 into k minus 11 into 0, that will give 6 into k by this term 6, that will give you k. Next, s raised to 1, this row, 10 into 6 minus 6 into k by 10. 10 into 6 means 60, minus 6 into k, all divided by 10. And this term, k into 0 minus 6 into 0, everything will be 0. So this is the important area. Please be careful. If I am having two crossing points, please keep it in mind. If I am having two crossing points, then s square rho will give you auxiliary equation. Once again, if I am having two crossing points, s squared rho will give auxiliary equation. S raised to 1, that rho will be a 0th row. This is the RH special case 2. This row will be 0th row. That means all the elements in this row should be a 0. So this term will be also a 0. Let me write here. 6t minus 6k by 10 is equal to 0. So 6t is equal to 6k. So k is equal to 10. First thing is okay, k is equal to 10. Now I am finding auxiliary equation. So which are the terms in the auxiliary row? 10 and k. What is the power of 10? First term, 10s square. Alternative term, k into s raised to 0. So auxiliary equation is first element 10 into this power s square plus k into alternative power of s raised to 0, that is nothing but 0 or 1 itself. Sorry, is 1 itself. So 10s square plus k, this is the auxiliary equation. And s value of k is 10. Put there, 10s square plus 10 is equal to 0. So 10s square is equal to minus 10. S square is equal to minus 1. S is equal to plus or minus j. Is it correct? Root of minus 1. J, plus j or minus j. So plus or minus j means you are having 2 points, plus j comma minus j. These are the crossing points. So this point will be plus j and this point will be minus j. Now your problem is perfectly fine. You got the perfect root locus diagram. All the points are perfect. All the crossing points are perfect. All the breakaway points are perfect. Everything is perfect. You will get the full marks if you solve like this. So first of all, from the problem itself, imagine the shape, then think about the rules. Then you will succeed in solving root locus diagram problem. So hope you enjoyed this lecture. We will meet in the next class with some important information about root locus diagram, the need of root locus diagram, the stability from the root locus diagram. Such things we will discuss in the next class. So thank you. We'll meet again next class. Okay.